We be live.
Yes, we are.
We're doing Q&A. So ask your questions in the live chat. Do it. But while we wait for some questions to show up, let me just remind everybody to subscribe to our newsletter. Link in the description. Our newsletter subscribers, we treat them so well. We send them the most beautiful, gorgeous, blasphemous art, sexy, gorgeous, beautiful. Wait, I shouldn't have said sexy. God, YouTube doesn't like that. I shouldn't have said that.
And you repeated it.
No, I shouldn't have said that within the first 30 seconds. I think I said it at 32 seconds. So I think we're good.
Well, I've other channels I watch, once they hit the 10-minute mark, that's when they say whatever they want.
Really?
Yeah. And these are like big channels.
But we cut the videos so it could be in the first 10 minutes anyways. So I shouldn't have said that S word. Just juicy. Yes. Well, God damn it. YouTube has gone too far when they're as sex negative as Hindutva. You can't even say the word. God damn it.
In other news,
I was saying, subscribe to our newsletter, and our newsletter subscribers, we treat them very well. We send them very gorgeous, beautiful art that are so good, too good for us to even tell you how good they are, because YouTube doesn't like it. Too spicy for YouTube. So get them, link in the description, and we send them to you for free. Like you should, like, once you get our newsletter, like our blasphemous art, you should come to us and like, you're treating us too well. Like, why are you giving all this art to us for free? Like, why are you doing this? Like, we don't deserve this. You have to come and say, like, we didn't do anything to deserve this. Why are you treating us this well? Okay, so subscribe to our newsletter and then come back to us and tell us why are we giving away all this art for free. Okay, come. All right, cool. Anyways, what were you gonna say? Oh, we have a question finally, but go ahead.
Oh, happy Eid, everyone.
What were you gonna say? You want to say something?
No, I was gonna say happy Eid.
Oh, that's it. Okay. All right. Happy Eid, everyone. All right.
Well, I'm excited. We need to have a secular Eid celebration next year.
Okay. I don't know what that would look like, but okay.
You celebrate Eid as atheists because you want to secularize holidays.
Let's think. Yeah, you're right. Let's think. We should do an art for Eid. Yeah, blank name is saying happy Eid, Susanna. All right, let's get to the questions.
Yes.
Guys, keep sending us questions, okay?
Coming in hot.
Right.
Blank name is saying, do you think Biden should put pressure on Netanyahu to hold a proper election and stop settlement in Palestinian territory?
Okay, it's not Netanyahu's job to hold the proper election. Like, he is not he is not in charge of holding the elections. If he was, like, the president, yeah, that's not how it works. But Biden should put pressure on Netanyahu to
cut the BS,
to stop the settlements. To stop the settlements in the West Bank. Yes,
if they held another election, I think it would be the 5th election.
I think it's the public. It's basically, it has been political suicide for any U.S. government to withhold, to make the aid to Israel conditional on not doing settlements in the West Bank. But because public opinion in the United States is shifting slowly away from supporting the far-right government in Israel, at some point maybe it becomes possible. Right now it's political suicide. So I wish they could do that, but it's almost impossible right now.
Yeah, the settlements are just a disaster.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, the settlements are insane. They're not good for anybody. They're not good for Israelis. They're not good for Palestinians. They're only good for the far right government and far right um,
Like
religious
ethno-nationalists.
ethno-nationalists in Israel, and also they're good for Hamas, and they're good for Hezbollah, and they're good for the Islamic Republic of Iran. So they're really bad idea, but the thing is that it's easy for us to sit here and say like, oh yes, Biden should put pressure on Israel, where knowing that the political costs associated with that, the way things are right now in the United States. Hopefully we can change, like that's going to change slowly though. So that's my answer. Anyways, let's look at yeah.
I
You
don't
want to
think
answer?
that's very interesting. I have no idea what that is.
Let me see. Mega Head Atheist saying, as a Canadian, are doing anything? Are I don't know what you're. Yeah, I don't know what you're responding to. Me, sorry, we don't know what you're saying.
Music Guy 20 is saying, hi guys, will you be having any guests on AR? It's been ages since you've had anyone. Music Guy, we just had Alice Gretchen on like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But honestly, scheduling guests is a lot of work. And it's a lot of work. I right now I have my attention going towards a lot of other really interesting things that I think might be better at pushing us forward more. I don't know. Kenji is asking, what are the silliest things you've been told are haram? My favorites are celebrating birthdays, wearing pants, and donating blood. Interesting.
What? I haven't, like, that's very interesting, because in growing up in Iran, celebrating birthday wasn't not told to us that it's haram, but I could see why it could be considered haram by some people. Wearing jeans, that's something that was supposed to be bad.
Specifically denim.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah. Also, that's for men, wearing shirts that has short sleeves. Anything past this point. Oh, this is basically showing your arms as men. This is like
the male hijab.
The male hijab. This is like me not covering my hijab. This is too sexy for Islam. This is too short. This is too sexy for Islam. This is too short. It should be
Everyone,
like,
lower your gaze. Lower your gaze.
Seriously, like when somebody in our class asked us like, why is wearing short sleeves like this haram? And they explained to us, because it will tempt women. Like, women can't. Yeah.
Finally, some equality.
They told us women can't handle my arms. So basically, that's why, like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know. I don't know why
you don't have good arms.
This was in high school, by the way, and I don't know if they understood what the teacher. So I was very impressed, because somebody in the class asked that, like, why is this bad? And the teacher was explaining this to us. So, like, well, the same, you guys, you know how women wear hijab, and this is because we as men are tempted by women. He was like, women are also, by the way, like, he was talking as if this is some revelation to us.
Yeah, right.
Like, we didn't know. Like,
did you know
women also get
temptation?
Women also have temptation. Like, they have the same kind of feeling. Like, no, like, yeah, women also get horny. Really? They get horny? Yes. And and the same way we men get horny by, like, women, if they see, like, you need to cover up so they don't get horny. And the thing is that I was thinking years later, I bet you a lot of people, that was actually a lot of students in the class might have thought, like, wait, I should wear more short sleeves. Like, that seemed like the opposite of what you want to tell teenage boys. so that they don't wear short sleeves. Like, wait, if I wear short sleeves, women will lust over me. Like, that's amazing.
That is pretty funny.
Right? Yeah. that's funny.
But well, okay, so I've never really been like told in my own personal life that something is haram, but I've like heard of other like hilarious haram things. I think the idea of like music being forbidden is ridiculous. Celebrating birthdays is like pretty common even in certain denominations of Christianity. I don't know if it's officially called haram, but men aren't supposed to. Again, I don't know what scripture this goes back to, but I've heard that men are not supposed to wear pants that that cover their ankles.
Yeah, same. Yeah, no, that's the same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
But but it's different though, because you were saying you're not supposed to show your arm because that causes temptation, but this is covering the ankle.
No,
So
no,
they have to be the pants have to come above the ankle.
no. They have to be long.
No, I thought I heard that they have to be above the ankle.
No. I've never heard that. Shorts are
not shorts, not above the knee. Definitely, like just coming right above the ankle. They're not supposed to go past the ankle.
Oh wait, really? Okay, I'm confused. I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, no. I was on the. Yeah.
Oh, people know what I'm talking about.
Really? I've never heard of this. This Sunni Islam is crazy. I don't understand.
I think that would be one of them. And something about like, I think it has something to do with hellfire. Like if your pants.
I don't think. I think that's some made up stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Anyways, next question.
How do you feel about the organization Secular Pro-Life? I actually have had a short conversation with a woman who used to be the executive director of Secular Pro-Life San Francisco. And in general, I mean, I haven't looked super closely into their arguments.
I had arguments with them.
I think having this conversation from a secular perspective is much more interesting.
No, it's
I'm
not.
much more willing to have that conversation.
It's as nonsensical as a religious one. Fetus lives don't matter. I don't care if you're religious or not religious. From a secular perspective or from a religious perspective, fetuses don't matter. You should stop caring about clumps of cell. They matter as much as my salad. Okay? That's how much fetuses matter. Okay? They don't matter. Do what you want with them. Nobody should care. Yes, exactly. Kenji has the hashtag ready. Fetus lives don't matter. Just because, like here's the thing. Flat earthers, right? They don't have a religious reasoning for why the earth is flat. Doesn't make it more...
Some of them do.
Okay, a lot of them don't. The ones that have a religious reasoning for why the earth is flat and the ones that don't have a religious reasoning for why the earth is flat, they make as much sense, okay? Just because something is not religious, we're like, oh, don't worry, Mr. Atheist. I have a non-religious argument for my bad take. Like, it's still a bad take. I don't care if it's non-religious. It's a bad take, all right? Anyway.
Why do you think, Goddess Katie is asking, why do you think several mythologies have a creature with an animal body and a woman's head? For example, Barak in Islam, Hindu and Hinduism, the Sphinx in Egypt, furries? Question mark.
Mermaids, like mermaids as well, huh?
That's a fish, not a mammal. The rest of these are mammals.
No, but it's like several have. Yeah, but Katie didn't say mammals. The animal.
But she said specifically the animal body and the woman head. A mermaid is like a trunk. It's like half a body, half fish. It's not just
Oh
human
my
head
god.
in
All
a
right,
life.
so pedantic. All right.
Oh,
Fairies. I don't know. I don't know. I think yeah.
I was
Hmm.
looking into it, and my understanding is, and I could be wrong, that Barak is actually not specified as a woman's head anywhere in scripture.
I think it was in
I
in
I could be wrong,
Sirah.
but I think it was just described as a beautiful head or a beautiful face, and then
Hmm.
over time that became a woman's head. I don't know.
Our brain is just
Right on
ready.
cue.
Yeah.
Did someone mention furry?
Actually, that gives us an idea.
Enters live chat.
We should make a lot of fairy art based on all of the lists that Katie just provided. Let's do that. That's a good idea.
Here's a good question from Idris. Do you think the Quraysh, being the main opponent of Muhammad, is also a fabricated story to undermine the Umayyads by the Abbasids?
Oh, yes, it's okay. I don't know if it's true, but I would love it if it's true. It would make so much sense. Okay, there is no way right now to prove what you're saying is true right now. Like, we don't have any evidence for it. Okay, Idris, but if this is this, if this, yes, Idris. Oh my God, oh my, this is so beautiful. Whoever came up with Muhammad's story, making the Banu Umayyad family be so horrible, seems like an Abbasid propaganda against the Umayyad dynasty. It will fit so well. This hypothesis would fit so well behind half of the story of half of Muhammad's life story. You know what I mean? Like, from childhood, making Muawiyah's father so horrible, making his mother so horrible, making, yeah, it will make. Idris, what have you been reading? This is really good. Did you come to this realization yourself, or have you been reading up on this? Because that is a going hypothesis out there, and I do want you guys to treat this like, be careful with your skeptical. Notice how I'm talking about it, right? A lot of people, when a hypothesis becomes very interesting and mind blowing, they become so tempted to make it seem like that is the explanation, right? But look how I'm talking about it. I'm like, I don't know that if that's true, but it would be fascinating if that is true. Okay, but a lot of conspiracy theory people, um, when some theory becomes very mind-blowingly interesting, they want that. They want it so much. They want that explanation to be true so much that they let go of their skepticism. Right now, this would make sense to me if it's true, but there is no proof for it. But yes, I do think it's possible. It's definitely possible.
Here's a question from Mark D. My son is 7 and has been raised secular so far, but is now meeting other kids raised in religious families. How should I explain what they are doing to my son? Meaning, like, not what these families are doing to his son, but like what their rituals are. How do they explain that to his son? Very good question.
Okay, I don't know if this is what, as somebody that is not an expert in parenting, I'm going to tell you what I think what I would do, what I would probably do. However, I'm not an expert, and you shouldn't take my answer as a official expert guidance. Like, maybe do some research on this. But if it was me, I would use this as an opportunity, because the conclusions that your kids come up with at these ages are not the conclusions that they're going to stick by. So you don't have to worry about, like, I mean, how many kids who believe in Santa ended up believing in Santa as an adult, right? You don't have to worry about what conclusions your child is coming up with right now. what matters right now is to try to get your kid to work on its imagination skills, creative thinking skills, curiosity, like developing that sense of curiosity. So instead of telling my kid that, oh no, they're wrong, this, don't believe that, these people are delusional, blah blah blah, I would just like, if my kid brings these topics up, I would ask questions. They're like, oh really, what do you think? They say this, what do you think about it? What do you think? Oh okay, and do you think it's true? And it doesn't, and there is no wrong answers at this point, right? Like, you're just encouraging, like, you keep asking, if he or she asks you a question, you also give your opinion, but you don't make it, but then you ask him or her their opinion. Okay, what do you think? And then if they give an answer, you keep asking them to elaborate. Maybe they keep creating a worldview, and what you're doing is that you're making them exercise their imagination muscles, right? It doesn't really matter at this point that they have the right answer. They're creating a worldview, and they're imagining things in their head, and they're seeing those things in their head, and their imagination is getting stronger and stronger, right? So this is the point where you just get them to think about things, and also to try to communicate what they're thinking with you, so that their communication skills becomes important as well. Don't worry about them having drawn conclusions at this point. That's my opinion.
Yeah, obviously I'm not a parent. Well, actually, I don't know how obvious that is, but my advice is very similar to Armin's. Like, talk about these things, but try to imbue a sense of skepticism with them. So, I mean, like, oh, if they believe this, will maybe think, like, maybe say it in a different way that's age appropriate. Like, oh, well, they believe this. Is there any way we could test that? You know, like, how do we? Not exactly, like I said, like, not exactly
Test
like that.
That's like, no, just be like, what do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Oh really? And then, like, let's say I think this and this. I'm like, oh really? And why? Just be like, just keep them talking. Like, let's say, like, I think Jesus and Santa are friends. Like, it doesn't really matter. Just be like, oh really? Okay, and how do you know that? Or what do they do? You know, when they're friends, and they're like, they keep, if they say, like, I think they go out, and I don't know, I think they both live in the North Pole or something. I'm like, okay, what do they do in the North Pole? Just get them talking, just get them imagining things and communicating with you their imagination. You could, like, other skills could come up later. This is not the time to be like, make them upset that they believed in something that was stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess, yeah, like, street epistemology is probably too much for a 7-year-old.
Yeah. They're like, your ideology is not consistent. You little idiot. Like, don't you see the contradictions within your belief? Like, no, that's not the time. This is not the right time for this, right? Just, yeah.
Payam is saying, is Islam dying from inside the Islamic theocratical countries? If so, how fast? Well, we have very interesting studies that suggest that it is dying very quickly in Iran. I don't know if we've had as comprehensive of polling from within other countries as, say, like Saudi Arabia, but
okay,
I get that feeling.
Let's get something straight. How many Islamic theocratic countries do we have?
Yeah,
like, we're just talking Saudi Arabia and Iran, right? That's pretty much it. Like,
there are
every other. Yeah.
I mean, unless some people mean, like, Pakistan isn't technically a theocratic country, but it has such an influence within politics,
Yeah, but it's not as binary. Like, people, like, just because some countries violate secularism doesn't make it a theocracy, right? This is why I have a problem with some people like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, United States has turned into a theocracy now.
Oh, they're insane.
I'm like, no.
You don't know what those words mean.
Yeah, no, like yes, we have countries that where Islam has a huge role in politics. Are there theocracies? No. But are there secular? No. Like there is a giant gap between countries that are secular and theocracies. There are many countries that are not secular, but haven't gone full on theocratical as well,
Mhm.
right? So I think like it's just out. Well, actually, no. What was that other country? The touristy one.
Thailand.
Islam. No, Islamic. God damn it, forgot. Starts with an M.
Mauritania.
Mauritania. No, I wasn't thinking about Mauritania.
Morocco.
The one. No, Morocco is not a theocracy.
Malaysia.
Malaysia is not a theocracy.
I'm
The-
just
the-
naming Muslim majority countries with M's.
The one that just recently made being gay punishable by death.
Brunei?
Yes, I think that's also a theocracy. So Brunei is
And Kenji's also
no,
technically correct.
Maldives. Was it Maldives? Yes, Maldives is also yes. Maldives. I think Maldives is a theocracy. I'm not sure. Brunei, yes, Brunei is the theocracy. Maldives, I think, is also a theocracy. I'm not sure. I have to look at more at. Okay, Kenji's saying Saudi isn't a theocracy; it's a monarchy. Why would being a monarchy stop you from being a theocracy? If you are a monarch that has been ordained by God and you're ruling by religion, that makes you a monarchy and a theocracy. I don't understand, Kenji, how Saudi Arabia being a monarchy will stop them from being a theocracy. Yes, Vatican is also a theocracy. You're right. So let me say, actually,
Yeah, but we're talking about Islam.
we're talking about Islamic. So no, so theocracies in the world: Saudi Arabia, Iran, Vatican. I think Brunei. I'm not sure about
There's
Maldives.
actually a very niche, like peninsula off of Greece,
Hmm.
that is a theocracy where only men can go, like monks. I learned that recently. I was like, what?
Anyways, we didn't even answer the question. What was the question? Okay, is Islam dying from inside in the theocratical countries? In Iran, yes. In Saudi Arabia, not as far, not the direct moving in the right direction, but not as fast as Iran. So I think we're mostly talking about these two countries, right? If you yeah. So, but in Iran, the numbers has been astronomical. It's insane. Like even the most optimist, which is me, by the way, wasn't this ready. Like I was like when I gave my predictions, like about how fast people are going to leave Islam, people are like, Armin, you're insane. And then the numbers came out, and apparently it was actually faster than I predicted. So, all right.
Oh, and what I was trying to articulate earlier, but articulated very poorly with my point about Pakistan, is there is a difference between an Islamic state and a theocracy. I feel like sometimes people conflate the
Islamic. Well, don't say Islamic State because then people think about the Islamic State. Yeah,
but that's.
I mean, you mean a government that is Islamic is not necessarily a theocracy. Like a government that has Islam as part of its way to govern is not necessarily a theocracy.
That's well, in Pakistan, like it's literally in the name. It's the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. That's an Islamic state.
Yeah, but it's not. It's still not a theocracy the way Saudi Arabia and Iran are.
No, and that was exactly my point. Is people conflate those two.
Right. All right, let's go move on to the next question.
Idris is saying, after the doubts you brought, I started to find it very weird such people were trusted. Oh, so you're talking about the Quraysh again and the Umayyads and the Abbasids. After the doubts you brought, I started to find it very weird such people were trusted with the caliphate, considering their previous beef with Muhammad instead of someone more sincere.
Well, I mean, Osman was also from the same family, so there's that. Okay, that wasn't a question. Yeah, but yeah, that's very interesting, Idris. All right, next person. Oh no.
Susanna, what will it take for you to notice my simping? Apparently Armin clicking on that comment.
Okay.
Um,
You could pick the next question. Wahhabi atheist has one.
Ooh, this is an interesting question. Would you rather live in a secular totalitarian state or in a democratic theocracy?
Me specifically, obviously. No, wait.
What is a democratic
Wait.
theocracy?
Oh, yeah. Actually, you're right. I was gonna answer that. That's not possible.
What does that mean?
That's not what you're saying cannot exist.
Yeah.
Democratic theocracy? Yeah, that's not possible. A theocracy is by definition
Authoritarian.
not democratic. So yeah, but this question would have been interested if you had said a secular dictatorship. Here, I'll fix your question, Razam. Would you rather live in a secular dictatorship or a country, a Muslim majority democratic country? There, I fixed it. So which one?
I think a Muslim majority democratic country.
Me also, maybe depending on what these Muslim majority are like.
Yeah.
Right? It depends on Muslim majority as in people like Tunisia, or Muslim majority as in people like Pakistan. Okay. So I would, if a democratic Muslim majority country, if the people are like Tunisia, I would prefer living there over a secular dictatorship. But if it's a democratic country and most people in that country are
Honestly,
not most people.
I think
wait, let me finish my thought, please. But if not even most, but if there's a lot of people like the mob that we see in Pakistan, it doesn't have to even be the majority. Me as an atheist activist will not be safe living in that country. So, but go on. What were you going to say?
I think that it's. I'd rather live in Pakistan than Gaza. I think in terms of probably the average opinion, I think it's better in Pakistan than Gaza.
I can't live in Pakistan. I wouldn't last.
I'm not saying it's great.
Yeah. Okay.
I just think there is more of a desire for liberalism than is obvious to the outside.
Yeah, let's just be clear. I'm not saying majority of Pakistanis are like radicals, okay? There's just enough of them there to make it an unsafe place for me.
Oh, without question.
Yeah, so like I hope like some liberal Pakistanis don't come here like, hey, Armin, we're not all like that. Yeah, I know, okay? I know, they're not like that, but it's enough for it to be a very unsafe place for someone like me. Anyways, wait, I don't know if it would be safe for Suze. How safe is Gaza for me? I mean, I feel more safe in the West Bank than Gaza Strip.
Easily.
I've been easily, but Palestinians in West Bank told me, because I wanted to also go to Gaza, and I was advised against that by Palestinians in West Bank. So Yeah. Anyways, next question.
This is an interesting question, more about the recent Israeli-Palestinian conflict we've seen unfold over the past week. Wahhabi Atheist is acting. There's been news that Arab Israelis and Jewish Israelis in ethnically diverse cities in Israel have started to attack each other. Do you think this may lead to civil war within Israel? This is something I've been following, and personally, it's one of the most disturbing aspects of what's happened over the past week to me. And I can't really articulate why, but I find it particularly distressing. I mean, the images coming out of some of these towns is just horrendous, including burning holy sites, places of worship on both sides, so to speak, police busting into people's houses and brutalizing Palestinians, like out from the outside, seemingly randomly. In terms of civil war, that's part of the thing that I find most concerning about this situation, because even if on either side of, the Gaza, either side of Palestine and Israel, like that calms down, there's still going to be this roiling ethnic tension within Israel itself.
Yeah, actually, I think what you're saying is very important. I want people to understand the significance of this is that the problem is a lot more rotten to the core, and this shows it, because the hope is that a lot of the conflict is just surface level far right politicians in Israel versus some radical extremists like Hamas and Hezbollah. And the optimistic view is that the Arabs and Jews themselves, without these people, are capable at some point in history to live side by side, and that they have that potential. And this challenges that optimism, right? Because there is enough land there. Guys, if we have, this is why I'm telling everybody, it's about stories, right? We tell each other bad stories that make us hate each other for the things that we believe in, or for the ethnicities that we have, or for the crimes of our ancestors, or our ancestors being the victims of other crimes. But as things are today, there is enough land and there is opportunity for all the Arabs and all the Jews to live side by side in peace and prosperity. There is no shortage of land there, right? It is possible, if people tell different stories and believe in different things, for these people to get along. There's nothing physical, there's nothing that should stop these people from doing that, other than the stories that they're telling each other, right? And what this shows, like, I've been to Israel, and I've been to Palestine, and when I was in Israel, I've seen that Arabs and Jews live side by side, and they can't even tell who's an Arab and who's a Jew. They buy stuff from each other. They go to the same park with each other. Their kids play with each other, and I've seen that is more than possible. And there has been, for a couple of years, we have seen so many examples of that being a possibility. But then when something like this happens, you can see that there is a level of the stories that these people from both sides have been telling has sunk to the core within the fabric of society, that this disgusting, this dark stories that have been told is not going to be removed just by removing the people that are using Jews and Arabs against each other for their own political gains. It has sunk deep. And this ruins a lot of that optimism. That means because even with better politics, because a lot of people have managed to accept that hatred, the problem is more not within the society and the people that live there, not just the politicians. So even if you remove the radical groups that we have today and remove the politicians in Israel that we have today, because that hatred is now sunk so deep, it's ready for another bad player to come take advantage of it. And it's very unfortunate because this goes against the narrative. Like a lot of Jews and a lot of Arabs who were trying to show that Arabs and Jews are capable of living with each other have been demonstrating to us for so many years how they can get along. And this all of a sudden goes against years of working with each other. Like all that goodwill, with all the images now that we're seeing on our screen, all of that goodwill is being challenged
within the span of like 2 or 3 nights.
Yeah.
Of rioting across the country. I mean,
yeah.
Jews being pulled out of their cars, just beaten, is Palestinians being pulled out of their cars, beaten, shot, Palestinian shops being destroyed as people chant things that I can't say on YouTube, and then lots of allegations against the Israeli police as they try to deal with the situation. I think, the intercommunal violence is what I find the most distressing about the situation. Well, not the most, because just the sheer body count by the end of today, last time I checked, it was over 100 Palestinians. And it's just going to get worse by the end of the week. That comes in as obviously most distressing, but second would be how deep this like racism and hatred goes, and it's just bursting out right now. It's scary. You hate to see it. So I'm trying to look for a good question. Puya is saying, have you ever either heard of Ayatollah Syed Kamal Haidari? He recently said that Islam, like any other ideology, has an expiry date and people don't need religion anymore. Well, Puya, you need to send that more information about that to me on Discord.
I might have heard of this guy. Is this guy Ayatollah? There's one. Let me see if I'm better with faces than names. Yes, this guy. This guy is like saying so many things. That like, are you sure you're a Muslim? Like he looks like. Okay, let me show you guys. Like I keep listening to this guy's streams, and he seems like he's like. I think more if more Muslims listen to this guy, they were gonna become ex-Muslim. Like he looks the part of like a fun. Like I was listening to this guy, and he was reading the hadith, and he was arguing why all of this hadith is made up. Like he was making my arguments,
God.
And he was like, he was even challenging the Quran at some point, and he was like, he was arguing why people who are tired of religion make sense and they are justified, and he was arguing why, in Iran, he was arguing. This guy was arguing why the mullahs of every region are just saying the things that the powers that be want to hear, right? Including now, like he's saying, like he was arguing why everything that you learn in Islamic theology and philosophy is because of this Islamic scholars of the time were trying to say the things that the rulers at that time needed. And that's what made it into our understanding of Islam today is based on what scholars were saying, that what was useful mostly to the politicians at the time. Like, well, he's saying it's everything that we consider Islamic theology or jurisprudence or fiqh is based on political needs at the time, including now. And he was giving examples of how mullahs today in Iran are changing the different aspects of Islam for the sake of the Vilayat Faqih in Tehran. And he's saying, like, it has always been like that in history. And like, are you even Muslim? Like, this guy's a secret. This guy is a secret. He's a secret Murtad. He's a secret ex-Muslim. Like, I am convinced that more people are skeptical of Islam because of what this guy is saying than anything we have done. It's amazing.
Who is his marja?
I think he is a marja. I don't know. Actually, here's the thing. I've only seen clips of him. I'm not very familiar with who he is, but every time I've seen a clip of him, I'm like I have to look, because he's playing in the background on my phone, and I always have to look at my screen, like, who's speaking? And I never expect to see I'm never expect to see a mullah.
Ayatollah.
I'm like, what? Like, why is this is not the look of the person that I expect behind these kind of words. So it's impressive. I don't know. I don't know who this guy is, but I have to do some more research because it's very impressive.
Where is he based?
I think he's in Iraq, but he speaks Farsi. He's Iranian. Where is this? I think he's in Iraq somewhere. Yes, he's in Karbala. He's Iranian. He says things that are against the Vilayat Faqih in Tehran. Yeah, I was right. He's in Iraq. But he's good. I like him.
Fascinating.
Yeah. We need to learn more about him.
I'm assuming he doesn't do lectures in English. No. Because that would make my life too easy.
No, it's Persian. It's most Persian. But yeah.
Sorry, I gotta catch up in the live chat. Guys, don't forget to tag us with your questions.
Yes, please. Get him. He's the guy. I think get him on the show. I think that would be the end of his career. Pick one. How hard is it to pick one? Here, I'll pick one. Here, read this one.
Did you hear about? Oh yeah. Ayodhya, Ram's birthplace, according to Hinduism, in Uttar Pradesh, elected a Muslim cleric in the recent Panchayat.
No, is it? Yeah, I did not hear.
Well, that. I think I heard a little bit about it, but it was too niche for me to really understand the significance of it. I mean, I guess a Muslim cleric being elected in UP in general is pretty unusual. And me not knowing about this, I'm going to take a guess that it means some bad things for the BJP, which I'm into, as long as this cleric is a firm secularist. But like I said, I don't know.
All right, I do want to address this because I think this is such a bad. Okay, Payam is saying, what happened to common sense? Did it die out? Too much violence in this world. Will human beings ever grow up? Okay, Payam, here's the thing. You don't understand that the people who are responsible for the violence, they're actually common sense. Yeah, common sense means that if they want to stay in power, they have to use. They're not idiots. Okay, stop trying to act like these people who are responsible for all this violence. They're idiots. They're actually incredibly smart. They're just not very good people. They're bad. They are. It's very easy to dismiss the problems that you're seeing to stupidity. But that's because you assume that everybody wants peace and prosperity for everybody. And when they fail at it, you think that they're being dumb. You don't understand that a lot of these people's relevancy and power and authority and legitimacy comes from the violence. So they're not dumb. They're actually extremely strategic and very smart. They're playing the game exactly how you would have if you didn't care about human misery and if you cared about your own well-being. So stop attributing things to stupidity. Oh,
Gaged American has a question. What are your thoughts on the Muslim banking practice? Would you credit that practice to the Islamic faith? Are you talking about, it's called riba, right?
but yeah,
Usury is
I think
wrong.
that's one of the one example of how Islam costs so much misery in people's lives without just going boom boom. Like, just it's not just violence and radical groups that cause a lot. Like, the amount of harm that this whole Islamic banking has caused in people's lives is something that is boring for most people to talk about, but has caused a lot of suffering and pain and lack of economic prosperity, especially like in Turkey. Go look at the consequences of trying to go against the bank's interest has been to Turkey's economy. These are some of the interesting ways that Islam costs misery without it getting coverage on the news. By the way, Apostate Prophet is here.
Oh, snap. Well, I'll answer his question very quickly, and then I want to go back to answer Gasian American's question.
No, finish Gasian American, and then we go to Apostate Prophet.
So, yes, like the whole riba thing it's terrible. It prevents people from building financial security a lot more quickly than they could. Abdullah Samir has a very good video on his channel that talks about how this affected his life personally when he was a very diligently practicing Sunni, and all of the ways that Muslims get scammed while they're trying to be diligent about usury, avoiding interest, and how much it cost his family. So I really suggest looking at that to understand how this affects people on a personal level. Like Armin said, riba isn't something that people really talk about, but it does have a really big cost. Literally.
See, religion you often hurts us, screws with society and our way of life in much more boring ways than people realize. Like, the cost of Islam is so much higher than what makes it into the news, but most of the cost is so boring. But it's not, it's not always just somebody tying some things to themselves and going boom boom, or people shooting each other. The aggregate cost of things that are not interesting, if you add that all up together, it's actually more than what makes it to the news.
Yeah,
anyways,
the aggregate cost of the simple everyday denials that millions of believers inflict upon themselves for no other reason than supposed divine authority.
Yes, exactly. All right. This one. Actually, okay, I know Apostate Prophet is trying to he tries to troll us here, but he does not know that this is talking about food. Is my favorite. It's actually,
and I actually have strong opinions on this.
I actually have strong opinion on this. Yes, exactly. Yeah, actually, guys, if you want to consume chocolate, make sure you don't just buy chocolate with sugar in there. Just go buy your own dark chocolate. If you want to make it sweet, use artificial sweetener. Dark chocolate is much better than all the diabetes sticks that you could buy in the store.
Hershey's.
Just buy cocoa powder or dark chocolate with no sugar added and make your own recipes out of it. Chocolate is really good for you. Okay, it has chocolate without the sugar. Chocolate without the sugar is really good for you. There's so many things you can make out of it.
Yeah, what is my informed personal opinion on dark chocolate is that I only have dark chocolate. Okay, how about that? It's so good. The darker, the better. Yes, just I don't have milk chocolate at all. That's heresy in my household.
I mean, you could make your own milk chocolate without buying the what's in the store. Just buy cocoa powder, mix it with milk, and put some sweetener there, and now you have a healthy milk chocolate, right? Better yet, get a protein shake with cocoa taste, and you get your protein as well. Yeah, actually, you know what? Throw all that away. Get protein. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'll show you.
Oh. It just always comes back to his protein powder. So many conversations.
Apostle Prophet, you ask, okay? This is because protein. You see the taste?
Dark rich, double rich chocolate.
Yes. Get this, mix it with so many things. If it's not sweet enough, add sweetener. This is so satiating. It tastes amazing, and it's good for you. Okay?
How long does it take you to go through one of those containers? Like probably like a week, right?
No, like this will last me a month.
Oh, okay.
Well, actually, I have 2 weeks. 2 weeks, maybe. Yeah. Oh, look, we're helping. Apostle Prophet is taking notes.
You're welcome. Live
You're
chat.
welcome. Yes. Okay.
What are some other questions? Narumi Momose is saying, serious question, do you think the recent developments in Israel/Palestine will reverse whatever little enlightenment the Muslim world gained during the recent years, albeit clandestinely? I don't think so. I think that's very generalizing. Yeah. Like, just because there is this land, I mean, like, really ongoing land dispute and conflict and, like, ethnic tensions, I don't think that just, like, snaps people out of all the good ideas they have. It does make them more challenging to actually live up to those better ideas. But I don't think people just, like, become these little hateful zombies necessarily. I don't know. Armin, what do you think?
No. Do you think reverse whatever? No. No, it's not like that's. It's not that simple. Just because something is going to be harmful, the amount of progress that you have seen we have made in the Muslim world, like people leaving Islam, people becoming less influenced by Islam, it has been so significant for it to ever be influenced by something like this. And even you have to understand that this is the Israel-Palestine issue is not a purely Islam. Islam has a huge influence on it, of course, but it's not just Islam that is like affecting that. Like, here's the thing: when I went to Israel, when I asked Israeli citizens about the Palestinian-Israeli issue, I got so many different opinions about it. I asked Jewish Israelis about their opinions, and I got like people with different views. And I asked Arab Israelis also about their views, and they had many different views that were against each other, right? Like they didn't have a unanimous. But when I went to Palestine, and I talked to the atheists in Palestine, the views of atheist Palestinians was very similar to Muslim Palestinians. So the issue sometimes goes beyond religion. And again, I'm not denying the role of religion, right? But this is not just like, so like, look at your question. Like your question makes it seem like this is just like, how would it do that? Like, no, I don't even understand the question. Will it reverse whatever little enlightenment the Muslim? First of all, you're saying whatever little enlightenment the Muslim.
Yeah, it's so derogatory.
It's not the Muslim world hasn't gained little enlightenment. The shift has been major. The shift has been major in the past couple of years in Iran and in Turkey, thanks to people like Apostle Prophet, even though he will not claim credit.
But thanks to people like Erdogan himself.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
For the
Yeah,
wrong
you mean
reasons,
for
obviously.
the wrong reasons. Yeah. No, but first of all, the gain hasn't been little. How could you be so dismissive of the gain? Yeah. And no, so an event like this is going to be damaging, but it's not going to stop the trends. Islam is suffering, and it will continue to suffer, thankfully. All right, next question. You take so long to pick a
What I'm
question.
thinking. Well, because then Narumi comes up with this follow-up saying it's not an ordinary attack on Palestine. You know, there was in the beginning of the week, the attack on Al-Aqsa Mosque, a very important mosque to Muslims. I realize differences exist in Israel, while many Palestinians are very racist. Another massive generalization.
No, I said a lot of. Didn't say all of them. Many. You said many. I think you're simplifying the situation. Okay, but it's not only ordinary attack on Palestine. It's Alaska Mosque, very important. I don't even know what this means. I don't even know what you're saying right now. So let's go
I
to the
think
next question.
they're trying to say, like, because there was this attack that involved Al-Aqsa Mosque during Ramadan, that it's very it can be seen as a larger attack on the Muslim community. It could be seen as a larger attack on the Ummah, like more unifying in that way, because it's not just, it is no longer just this ethnic group, just this land. It now involves the third holiest site in Islam.
Yeah, okay. The Palestinian situation has been used by theocrats and Islamic groups and anti-Semitic people as a way to mobilize people against Israel and make this not just some people, not just a political conflict. Some people try to make it more than a political conflict into an ethnic conflict based on their agenda, and other people try to make it more of a religious conflict based on their agenda. This has been going on forever, and we've been here before, and things used to be. We have gone through worse situations than what we're seeing right now, and even with all of that, we've seen Islam losing the battle. So I don't understand how you think now it's different. Yes, this is a major setback. This is going to be used by the Islamic Republic. It's going to be used by Erdogan. It's going to be used by Hamas. It's going to be used by even Fatah. It's going to be used by Hezbollah. It's going to be used by them, and they want this to become an ideological battle more than just a political one. They want that, but Islam is losing. So even with all of that, in the past couple of years, you can see the direction things are heading. So even though situations like we have had worse events than this, so I don't understand how you think this time is different.
Ooh, I have a question for you. It's not from the live chat. This is my question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been watching coverage of this, and some commentators like the Watchman Eric Stakelbeck, he seems to think that Iran may be even doing a dry run of further possibly land-based conflicts that they can put towards Israel. And he's like, no one's talking about Iran and all this, blah, blah, blah. But I was wondering what you were thinking about that claim, that it's a dry run for Iran to take even further action, so possibly on Israeli land.
So even if it wasn't planned to be that, it's effectively will become that. Okay, so here's the thing. This is more about the timing of this has more to do with Netanyahu losing his power than anyone else, right? This is Netanyahu's attempt at poking the bear, so the bear attacks, so that it could justify himself maintaining his position. It's a desperate attempt at that, and it might work. I don't know, but the Islamic Republic of Iran obviously is supporting Hamas, and other groups that are firing missiles at Israel. And you can't really tell if their planning is like, oh, great, let's see what Israel like that was the intention to begin with, but it really doesn't. But we know for a fact that it will effectively will become that, because you have to understand that as much as Hamas has managed to increase their stockpiles of missiles more than most people ever thought that they were capable of. Like, they have so much more missiles right now, and they're like showering Israel with missiles so much so that even when 5% of it doesn't get caught by the Iron Dome, it's going to cause so much chaos in Israel, right? That like they are is so much more than before, right? So the situation is very intense, and Hamas would not be able to get to this position without Iran's support.
Yes.
They are openly now, they're not even trying to hide that anymore. They're openly thanking the Islamic Republic for making this possible, right? However, what Hamas has access to is nothing compared to what Hezbollah has access to, right? So imagine, like, Hamas is from at the Gaza Strip, but Hezbollah can attack Israel from the north. So the amount of chaos that Hamas is causing for Israel, just imagine what Hezbollah eventually can do if they want to unleash all their missiles, because it's going to be a lot more. And the range of those missiles are even higher, right? What that Hamas has access to, okay? And the thing, what you could, to answer your question, is that watching how Israel is reacting to Hamas's missiles is going to be very valuable information right now for Hezbollah. Like, they are taking notes. Like, this is completely, that, how United States spends millions and millions of dollars to do like fake battles just to see how a situation will play out in real, because you can always theorize, but you're never going to be able to see what's going to happen in real life. And you need that, because you're going to be surprised if you don't know that. That's why South Korea, United States, China, they always do like mock battles just to see how this would play out in real life. Doing that beforehand is extremely valuable information before you go into battle. And Hezbollah right now is getting that for free.
Yeah.
By watching how Israel reacts to Hamas. Yeah. Okay, I do want to answer this one. Yeah, you're welcome. I do want to answer this one.
Oh, I was just wondering about your opinion on that, because he is a biased commentator, and I wasn't sure how much he was exaggerating. Terrell's is asking, is it just me, or is Hamas, especially in practice, a wholly owned subsidiary of the IRGC?
No, not at all. They are supported by the IRGC, but they are separate. They don't even believe. So Hezbollah is a lot closer to IRGC than Hamas. Hamas is Sunni, IRGC is Shia. Hamas doesn't even believe in IRGC's intention for for their support, but they'll take the support, right? So they're like, we'll just, we don't believe in your ideology, and we don't believe in the reason why you're supporting us, but we'll take your support anyways, right? And let me tell you, the Hamas and IRGC had major conflicts with each other. The greatest disagreement between Hamas and IRGC was the support of IRGC for Assad. So no, Hamas and IRGC are not the same. They're not completely, wholly owned by IRGC. Hamas is very critical of IRGC's support for Assad. Hezbollah is a lot closer to what you're describing than Hamas. Yeah, but again, Hamas would be, even though that's true, Hamas will be very, very less capable of attacking, would be much less capable of attacking Israel without IRGC support. We know that for sure now. We know that for, like, we were always saying this, but we always had to be skeptical a little bit because we had no direct evidence, but the evidence is so overwhelming right now. So we know that for sure. I mean, we don't even need evidence because they're not denying it. They're openly bragging about it. Right?
Oh, we've been going for over an hour.
Okay. Just do one. Anything else? Do you want to do one last question before we go?
If I see a good question.
Just one good question. But Terrell's question was good. I liked it. Hezbollah. Oh yeah, Hezbollah. Yeah, I agree with that. There's a lot of comments, but no questions.
Yeah, I don't see any questions.
I'm just okay. So let's just end this with Payam saying, "Why are you guys highlighting these compliments of me? You should highlight compliments of me."
You can highlight them too.
Okay, but I want you to highlight them. Payam is saying, "Armin, you are awesome." Oh, thank you. I know. And then Payam is saying, "Thank you for your hard work in making our world a better place, bit at a time, every day." Well, I have to admit something. It's not hard work at all. Because it's too much fun. No, I'm serious. It's not like people are like, "Oh, Armin, you're working so hard." I'm not. It's so much fun. Like I really enjoy what I do. Like I'm so lucky that my work involves just talking about the things I want to talk about and making content out of it. So it's not hard work. It's really fun. So actually, let me just see two more. Afshin is here. I have to answer Afshin. Can we please also have a mention of what?
Of the Kill the Bill movement in the UK. The whole thing is the crap show. The Conservative Party are trying to restrict the right to protest. I don't know anything about this, Afshin.
Yeah, I haven't been following that, Afshin, but we can mention it by just reading your comment. So we read it. Guys, go look it out. So I haven't been following that closely, so I don't think I'm in a position to be able to talk about it that much. However, yeah, so we'll read Afshin's comment as a way to bring it to your attention. Guys, go check out the Kill the Bill movement to get informed on it. Aluza is saying pineapple and pizza, yes or no? I say pineapple, yes, pizza, no. Pineapple, just pineapple. Pizza, bad. Don't eat pizza. Pizza is not good for you. Okay? So the problem with the pineapple on pizza, it's not the pineapple. The problem with pineapple on pizza is not the pineapple. The problem is the pizza. Okay? Remove the pizza, eat the pineapple. I think that was the best answer to this question anyone has ever given. Right? Like everyone, like, oh, pizza without pineapple or pizza with pineapple. My answer is pineapple without pizza. There you go. There's your answer.
Oh, no, I have a good thing to close on. I have a final question. How long do you think the Ayatollahs will continue to rule in Iran? Easy answer. We don't know. And anyone who says that they do know is full of it. They don't know either. So.
Yeah. How long do you think? Okay. Here's another thing. This question implies that the Ayatollahs will end or anything within our lifetime. That's an assumption that could completely not be true. Okay. So, just because we want the Ayatollahs to stop ruling over Iran means it's going to happen. Oh, awesome. Thank you. I think this is about my pineapple answer. People are triggered in the live chat. Okay, I'm going to leave. But before I leave, I'm going to address everybody being upset about the pizza. People are like loving pizza and being triggered about my anti-pizza position. Okay. I just going to say before I leave that you guys have your pizza and I will enjoy living a longer, healthier life. Okay. You have your pizza and die fat and early and painfully. I'll have my pineapple and live longer, healthier, and I be an old man with a lot of energy. And you guys will be in your wheelchair. You guys will be in your wheelchair as an old
diabetics.
We're diabetics, and I will be swimming in the ocean and climbing up mountains when I'm old. Okay, cool. Okay. Oh, I rather have Armin. Oh, okay. Well, that's also very healthy. Actually, I don't know. Yeah. All right, guys. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Oh, subscribe to our newsletter. Link in the description. Do it. Do it. You get our blasphemous art for free. They're gorgeous. They're beautiful. And we have new blasphemous art for free for our newsletter subscribers every week. Link in the description. And wait, why should they subscribe, Suze?
Because it's Hikmah, it's Dharma, and it's kosher.
Do it. Do it now.